Hello, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Shenanigans. If you love college football, you're in the right place. Welcome to some unfiltered college football content. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I do this for fun, but it would mean a lot if you guys could all support. And without further ado, let's get right into it. I know, from the title of this video, you already think I'm crazy for choosing Oregon State to win the Pac-12 in a conference filled of Heisman contenders, good teams, USC, Colorado, Oregon, all these teams that get the buzz. Really? Oregon State, the Beavers, who aren't even going to be in a conference next year, they're going to win the Pac-12? Well, I'm going to tell you why. No story would make sense without context, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Beaver football. Oregon State was the laughingstock of college football in the late 2010s. Under Coach Gary Anderson from 2015 to 2018, OSU went 9-39. There was absolutely no hope in Corvallis, and it was a joke of a program. All of that would change in 2018, or as we know it, the rise of Beaver football. Oregon State hired former Beaver quarterback Jonathan Smith, who was an offensive coordinator at Washington, leading the Washington Huskies to the college football playoff in 2016. People in Corvallis were delighted because of the fond memories they had of Jonathan Smith. In 2000, he led the Beavers to an 11-1 season, their best of all time, and a BCS win in the Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame. Now, here we are in 2023. The Beavers are coming off their first 10-win season since that 2000 team with Jonathan Smith. The dam has been built. Now, why do I think Oregon State's a contender? The Beavers return almost their entire offensive line, which was a strong point for them last season. Coming into this season, they're ranked number 3 in the nation, according to Pro Football Focus, and they need a guy running between those holes, and they have just the guy to do that. Returning freshman All-American running back Damian Martinez, who took the Pac-12 by storm last year, almost 1,000 yards rushing as a freshman. They have it backed up with a veteran player named Deshaun Fenwick. They have a great running back room. Now, last year where they struggled was quarterback play. They had two guys, Chance Nolan and Bengal Branson. They were just game managers. They weren't insane talents. They wouldn't wow you with their arm, the throws downfield. They would just manage the game, hand the ball off, and do a couple play actions. But as you all know, Oregon State brings in former 5-star QB DJ Uiagalelei, one of the top recruits ever to come to Oregon State, and he's going to change their dynamic on offense totally because now the Beavers have a talent who can throw the ball downfield behind that amazing run game. And that formula for offense has been successful. The Beavers have only had 2 turnovers in the first 3 games, all coming in the last game in the fourth quarter against San Diego State. The Beavers looked really good. DJ looked super comfortable. He even said he could make a sandwich back there with the amount of time the offensive line's giving him. And this is what's going to help propel the Beavers in big Pac-12 matchups. Oregon State's style of play where they hold the ball for a long time, a lot of time of possession, run the ball, slow other teams down, don't let their offense get on the field. That's going to be huge in this season of the Pac-12 with all the teams like Colorado, USC, Washington, who are high-flying. If they can keep the ball out of those quarterbacks' hands with the run game and the steady hands of DJ Uiagalelei under center, they're going to be able to do big things. Last year, they were second in the conference in time of possession. We saw this in games versus USC, where USC barely won in a 17-14 game, but they kept Caleb Williams in check, and I think they can do that many more times this year in those big matchups. Now, speaking of schedule, Oregon State has a favorable one, and they luck out. Although no schedule is going to be easy in the Pac-12 with 8 ranked teams, they do not play the USC Trojans. That's a huge win. And they do not play at the 2 toughest environments in the Pac-12, in my opinion. Salt Lake City for Utah and Seattle for Washington. Those are 2 loud places to play and tough places to go. But Oregon State has both of those games at home, leading them to a good spot in their schedule. They do play the Oregon Ducks on the road in Eugene. Again, Autzen Stadium, one of the best in the country. It's absolutely electric, but I don't really take that game as a road or home. It's a rivalry series. Any rivalry series, it doesn't really matter. You throw all that out the window. We've seen that so many times in college football. So if you think about it, the 2 toughest games that Oregon State has this season are at home, and that's going to allow them to win those games. Now, the one thing I'm worried about with Oregon State is their secondary and a little bit just their defense as a whole. They lost a lot of veteran guys in the offseason, but they're young guys, and they have a few veterans who they've kept on the bench the last few years. They've been playing super well throughout the season, and their defense has looked solid. They gave up 17 against San Jose State, should have been 10 because they scored late. 9 against San Diego State, which is not too shabby of an offense, and they looked absolutely dominant against UC Davis, an FCS opponent. So far, I'm pleased with what the Beaver defense has done, and hopefully they can keep that up in conference play. Bottom line, you had an absolutely great team last year, and you make them even better in the offseason with the transfer portal. DJ Uiagalelei, he's not going to be asked to do too much. He's going to be very comfortable in the pocket to make easy throws, and I think their offense gets so much better. They're going to make leaps, and that's what's going to propel them to the Pac-12 championship. Finally, the elephant in the room that I haven't even talked about, Oregon State does not know where they're playing next year. Obviously, they got left out of the new Power Four of college football, the Pac-2, Oregon State and Washington State, and that's going to add even more fuel to the fire. Jonathan Smith is going to have these boys ready to play, and Oregon State's going to make it to the Pac-12 championship with one loss and even have a chance at the college football playoffs. I'm calling it now. Everyone keep the receipts. Come back to this video in December when all that happens. You can tell me I'm an idiot, or most likely you're going to say, Saturday Shenanigans, you're an absolute genius. I'm going to like, comment, and subscribe just because of that. Everyone, make sure to support the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later this week.